Welcome back to the Charlemagne Benjamin Realty Team. I'm Charlemagne Benjamin, and today you'll be joining us on a tour of Savannah, Georgia, one of the oldest founded cities in the United States, founded in approximately 1733. Now we're heading into Wormsloe Historic Site. It's home to one of the oldest structures in Savannah. This colonial estate dates back to the 1730s, built by Noble Jones, one of Georgia's first settlers. Past that famous oak-lined avenue lies centuries of history, and there's no better way to dig into that than with one of the site's tour guides.
Welcome to Wormsloe State Historic Site. My name is Brian. I'm an interpretive ranger. I'm usually not filmed. It's okay, but I get nervous when I'm being filmed. So there you go. All right. So, wow, Hollywood. Here we are. Okay. Wormsloe was founded in 1736 by Noble Jones. Noble Jones is the head of one of the 34 families that come to found the colony of Georgia. General Oglethorpe will bring these 34 families on the ship the Anne. They'll land here in 1733, February, during the middle of the winter. They come with the tools of their trade and the clothes on their back. Noble Jones is probably the most successful of these original colonists, even if we take a look at multiple ships coming in over the first couple of years. Even though he's on the first ship, he's probably the most successful. His family still lives on a portion of this property, the only English colonial family of any of the original 13 colonies that still live on their same piece of property. You might be related to somebody that came over on the Mayflower, but unless you live in Plymouth, Massachusetts, it doesn't count. These people live on the same piece of property. They've been living here on Wormsloe for 290 years. We're now at Oak Avenue. Oak Avenue, being only 135 years old, is one of the newer creations here at Wormsloe. These were trees, 400 of them were planted in 1891, 1892, as a birthday present for Wimberly Wormsloe Duran, who was born in 1891. This roadway doesn't really lead anywhere. In most cases, the Oak Avenue leads to the Manor House or something like that. But the Manor House is actually off, Wormsloe House is off to the side and has its own entrance elsewhere on the property. Now, this is today since 1917. This has been the way to the property entrances, but before 1917, it comes from a different route. So in 1891, when he's building this is extra. We don't really know why he did this, but interestingly, the Jones family never does anything without a reason. It does point at the original Tabby Fort structure. So what it's pointing at directly to the south, on a very straight line, is exactly the fortification that basically protected early Georgia from the Spanish. So honoring his great-great-great-grandfather in 1891, building this, pointing at that historic structure, not being narcissistic and pointing it at his own house. He's pointing it at his ancestor, pointing it at the reason for Wormsloe existing, to originally protect Savannah from incursion from the south by the Spanish. We are actually fairly close to the coast of Georgia. When I say close, you go, oh yeah, Tybee Island is 9 miles from here. Actually, the coast of Georgia is 350 yards from us right now. The coast of Georgia is on the other side through that forest over there, and it's called the Isle of Hope River. It's a tidal river, it's salt water. We have oysters and shrimp and blue crab in there, dolphins in there. A little bit warmer, we'll have manatee in there. It's definitely we're a saltwater situation right here. The coast of Georgia right there, 350, 400 yards from us in here, is what we call a low impact coast. The waves are hitting Tybee Island, Tybee, Wassa, Ossabaw Island, our coastal islands. They're hitting them not 12 miles out, depending on where you are. But on the coastline, we don't get any wave action. All we're getting is the tidal action. The average tidal change here in coastal Georgia, specifically here at Wormsloe, every 6 hours, average 8 foot 3 inch change. So huge tidal change here on the coast of Georgia. The marsh that's between us and the barrier islands is 3/4 acres. It starts up the Savannah River near Tybee Island, Savannah, all the way down to Florida. Now, the reason it's a salt marsh today, when you get down there, go, why are they protecting a salt marsh? The Confederate Army would build a dam at the tip of about halfway down Wormsloe across to Long Island, so they could then move men and equipment very quickly by land. Same reason why this was selected for in colonial days. The Confederate Army would build the dam for the same reason, a quick way to get men and equipment from one place to another by foot. Except in that case it would stop the river from flowing and create a salt marsh. The closer the water's getting to us here, you'll notice that the Spanish moss is getting more robust. The Spanish moss has a lot of surface area to it, and it lives off of sunlight, rainwater, and the salt air. So the closer we are to water, the more minerals that the Spanish moss can draw out of it, and it becomes basically more healthy. So it's just basically giving it better vitamins. Anybody ever seen the movie? Look down the road here. Look down the road. Look down the road. Anybody seen the movie, Miley Cyrus movie, The Last Song? Last Song. That's where they get stuck in the mud. Behind me, the pollinator field, we recently did a controlled burn that knocked down invasive and non-native species of grasses. The controlled burn also encourages the native species, which is called wireweed, to grow. It grows best right after a fire. And normally, there's enough foliage out in that grass, out in that field there, that you can't see the bee boxes. So I'll give you an idea of the height. And we do make honey from that. Behind or in front of you, behind me, wherever you are, this is a longleaf pine over here. Longleaf pine has pine needles averaging 12 to 15 inches long, hence the name. It's the native species of pine tree in Georgia, but we lost a lot of them in the 1970s due to a pine beetle. Rebel Wilson filmed here the film Bride Hard. Part of Bride Hard was filmed right in that little... right there in that garage. It was filmed right there. She stood right there pretending to pull wires out of the wall. We've got two non-native species of things that grow here at Wormsloe. Bamboo being one of them. The bamboo we kind of leave alone. It's on the dividing line between the private residence and the state land here. Bamboo was brought here on purpose to experiment in the 1880s and 1890s to determine if it could be a forest product. It was later determined, no, we don't want it, but once you have bamboo forever, so this gets all left alone. There is another invasive non-native species that grows here, but it's got a better story. Little guy in England, he collects seeds and things, and he sends them to Georgia. It's his job. He's the agricultural agent to the colony of Georgia. He's living in London. When ships come in from around the world, he takes pieces of fruit that he's never seen before, or different cuttings, different seeds of different kinds of products coming in, and he sends them to a variety of places. One of them, a very important place for him at the time, is sending them to Wormsloe. He sends to Noble Jones some Chinese tallow tree seeds. The letter says, to Noble Jones, I enclose a box of Chinese tallow tree seeds. I hope you find them useful. Signed, Benjamin Franklin. The Chinese tallow tree, 200 some odd years later, are still growing as pests in our old fort field over here. And when we see them sprout up, they've got a unique leaf. We dig them up, because if we don't, they take over really fast. And then just a reminder, I would not pick up anything like a palm frond like that, because they typically have chiggers on them. Chiggers are very itchy insects that like to live in the palm fronds. He'll figure that out in 2 days. I've seen people with take the Spanish moss and wrap it around their neck like a stole, or wear it like a wig, hat. If you know what a chigger is, that's great. If you don't ask. They won't like the answer.
Inside the museum, you get a real feel for just how old this place is. There's a replica of the ship Anne, the very first vessel that carried Noble Jones and 114 other colonists across the Atlantic in 1733. That voyage marked the beginning of Georgia as a colony, and Wormsloe became one of its very first settlements. There's even a replica showing what the original Tabby house looked like. And get this, it was built from oyster shells, lime, and sand. And somehow it's one of the oldest surviving structures in Savannah. And scattered throughout the exhibit are actual artifacts pulled straight from the ground here, such as tools, pottery, and other everyday items that they had. Each piece adds another layer to the story of the people who lived, worked, and survived on this land. It's a small museum, but it does pack nearly 300 years of history. Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please feel free to subscribe, follow, and comment down below what was the most interesting part of the video. Now, if you want to check out our other videos, feel free to check out our videos that we have on other towns on Long Island. We have some other stuff from other states, and also we have something in Central America. Now, if you're interested in getting real estate guidance for any aspect of your New York real estate journey, feel free to log on and create a free account to viewlongislandhomes.com.